Did you guys hear about this Pentagon official claims alien mothership could send ships to Earth? And that they think that there's an alien the Pentagon said that there's probably an alien mothership sitting out in the galaxy sending drones to our planet.
Yay!
Pentagon document.
Oh yeah.
What do you
It's
think about
happening.
that? Bro.
Oh yeah. I
No.
expected it to come out at some point. That there's other life.
I feel like it's been like this for a long time and we didn't know.
Yeah.
And also, it could be like, I mean, we've talked about this so many times about like possibly staging something for, you know what I mean? Like
We landed
fear
on the moon.
tactics.
Covering up for the pedos.
Yeah. Some sort of staging event.
Yeah, we definitely landed on the moon. No.
You think so?
I think if you look at the
I'm
cost,
starting to swing that way now.
it was more expensive to do the film set than it would have been to actually do the moon landing itself.
No.
Here we go.
No way. Where does it say that?
So think about all the costs.
That was too many. I clicked too many buttons.
Double click. No, okay, so seriously though, realistically, what's a fucking movie budget? You know what I'm saying? Like even
Millions.
well, think,
So the moon landing from 1968 to 1972,
yeah,
the first mission to successfully land, which was Apollo 11, cost approximately $355 million.
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay, I was off a little bit.
And
I thought it was gonna be way more expensive.
But that was in 1968.
Yeah.
So now look up how much it was,
It was closer to 1969.
Okay, so see what the inflation ratio is.
and then also look up how much one of Stanley Kubrick's Space Odyssey. You know what I mean? Be like, what was the budget for Space Odyssey? Because that's probably a similar budget
Yeah.
for this. You know what I mean? I would
Probably
assume.
10 million.
I would assume something like that.
Well, the
I'm
problem
still
is
surprised
you're doing it live though. You're
Yeah.
having to fake it live.
Did they
Yeah.
know? Because all they had to do was record it and then act like it's being shown live. People didn't know dick about fucking
Well, there
live
were people.
broadcasting back then.
There were people at Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, no. But I mean,
That's what I'm saying. So like,
you can still broadcast it to them live and have those guys sitting in another room like.
But did you ever?
No. Like you can sit like bleachers outside and you can watch it launch.
But,
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
but
saying
the
that.
thing is like I've never seen like a picture of it or a video of it leave like a ship, like a spaceship, like leaving our atmosphere.
They always do this.
It arcs. It always arcs towards the Bermuda Triangle,
Every
and that's
time.
why I think the Bermuda Triangle is a fucking entrance to the middle of the Earth.
Either an entrance to the middle of Earth or like
So-
a wormhole out of Earth.
Yeah,
Like that's the
yeah,
way.
into space.
But so then they
Can
could,
I
let me
can I
quick say
make a
this.
counterpoint real quick to just counter the whole arc thing, just real quick?
Yeah.
So, if you were to leave Earth right here, yes, the Earth is spinning, correct?
My hand is Earth.
Okay, so his thing. Now I want you to spin. Now that's going to make an arc, is it not?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But still, you never see it. There should be a.
Yeah.
There
I
should
would
be a
think,
big.
I would think it would go straight up. I just think
wouldn't
it would
we
go
have
straight up.
Wouldn't there be like okay, so
Like when it leaves the atmosphere.
yeah, it has to leave the atmosphere through
Yeah.
through like a
You
thick
never
layer
you never
of
see it
something.
leave.
No, it gets thinner as you go up.
Then
We're
how
the
come
thickest
stuff
layer.
catches on fire coming in
because
and not
it's-
leaving?
So exactly because it's like
because
more.
you're hitting less things.
Yeah, yeah.
So as you're coming back into the atmosphere,
it's thicker.
friction, because you're hitting more and more things and the atmosphere is getting thicker and
Thick-
thicker as you're getting closer because of gravity and weight, all the heavier elements and all the heavier particles and air are dragged down to us, our level
Okay.
right here. This is the thickest part of the air.
This is what it feels like when you're like at the top of the atmosphere, and then as you go down, it goes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It really
Yeah.
starts to rub because
It's
there's
like-
more.
Yeah.
So if it gets harder and
It'd be
harder,
like rubbing a cloth to
wouldn't
start.
Eventually, you'd punch a hole through it.
Huh?
So wouldn't we hear that or like see it or like there'd be some sort of
Well, it's
visual,
not-
But it's
right?
breaking the sound
So-
barrier.
Yeah, sound
happens.
barrier. That's where the sound barrier is, but it's more of like sound. It's like so like the atmosphere is like all chemicals and shit that are like they're not connected. They just look connected. You know what I'm saying? Like you can.
Did you know you
It's
can,
not like water. They're not as
Right.
thick as water.
Right.
Right?
Did
Did you know
So
you
they're
can
not,
break the
like,
sound barrier
you know-
standing still?
But you know what I'm saying? Like you can go through
Crack a
water.
whip.
You can still go through water, and the water moves around you, but it's thicker, right? So
Yeah.
think of that. Think of like really light water that you're going through, and the deeper you get, it's literally
Yeah.
just like going through water. Deeper you get, the more
Is
it's
it
gonna-
water up there?
Call it the firmament, man. I don't know. I just don't think we
Wait.
went to the moon. Honestly, I just
I
think I think we either did, and we're super far advanced, and we're literally like part of a fucking like extraterrestrial thing where it's like
Like an agreement that we can't go back up?
either we can't go back up, or they're like, you guys cannot disclose this to the human race because you guys are just fucking psychotic. You need to be on a certain level before they know about this, like, or else you guys are just gonna implode. It's already happened to planets.
And they're like raising consciousness until we can handle the truth.
Handle it exactly
Or
right.
the moon is a barren rock and it provides no extra resources or is not worth the time or money spent.
Here's one.
Which would make sense on why
Could
we
very
don't go
well
back
be.
there.
Yeah.
Very true. Or did you ever hear of when they landed? So when they, I forget what it was. When they shot the, it was either the lunar,
Who's they?
the lunar lander, NASA.
Oh, okay.
When they went up, and then don't quote me on this. It was either the mission where they landed on the moon, or I believe it was the mission they landed on the moon, or it was a different one. But they basically had to jettison the lunar craft and hit the moon, right? They had to like jettison it into the moon, basically, like kind of fast, where it crashed into the moon, basically. And I can't remember who it was. I want to say, I don't think it was Collins. It might have been Collins. They said when they hit the moon, it rang like a bell for hours.
Whoa.
Rang like a bell. Boom. For hours, he says. So what if the moon is the spacecraft? What if the moon is the alien spaceship?
Is the mothership?
Looking like the goddamn Death Star. Why do you think they made Star Wars? Why do you think they made the Death Star? Because they're like, oh, this couldn't happen.
Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah, this is sci-fi. This isn't real.
Well, I mean, unless George Lucas is lying, he based that whole thing off of, like, the Nazi, like, the Empire is supposed to be like the Nazi era.
Think about it though, right? So, and then it's based off the Nazi era.
Wow.
And then that shit also ties in. So if the Nazis actually found either inner Earth beings or extraterrestrial beings, what if the Nazis found out they're like, fuck, the moon is literally this? They're literally in the moon. Holy shit, right? They're either in space or they're under the Earth or in the moon. Oh my god, right?
There's also a video of an astronaut. Did you see that one of like he was working on the ISS and he like covered up where like UFOs were like going behind the moon?
Yeah. Yes.
Like what the fuck? And he was like trying to cover it up with his hand.
Bro, you can see the live streams cut on that shit a bunch.
See, like, if we were to have done, like, now, let's say we've never been to the moon, and then all of a sudden in 2015 or 2017, they were like, we're going to make our attempt to go. And then they did it, I would have more questions now.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I definitely think it was much harder to fake back then. That good.
Yeah.
So I think it was harder to fake back then, but I also think it was like,
I think I'm on team we landed on the moon. I think I'm swayed.
I'm stuck in the middle.
I'm swayed.
I see it. Oh, that's another.
Like it's harder to fake, but it would be easier
Especially back
to
then.
do now, but it would be harder to fake now, right? So it's harder to fake, but maybe easier to do back then because maybe it's simplified or some shit,
Yeah.
right? But like, I'm stuck. We either can't leave here or we left here and we're part of something way bigger.
There also wasn't a lot of people like us who speculate on everything. You know what I mean? Back in the 60s. Like,
Or
they
there
weren't
was,
allowed
but
to
there
free
wasn't
think.
the internet to
Well, I
let
guess
us
they were.
connect, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
to where
the
we
networking. Yeah.
feel more. There's not so many of us now. There's like, oh, everyone's questioning everything. Back then, you just think you're that one person in town who's like, we didn't land on the moon,
Yeah.
and everyone else is like, you crazy
Fucking
bastard.
hippie.
Yeah, you fucking hippie. How much of that fucking lettuce did you smoke today, hippie?
Yeah. Damn.
Fucking peyote.
Team Moon.
Team. So you got swayed, huh?
I think so, dude. Like, there's so many more. I don't know. Yeah. It's crazy, too, because, like, you look at evidence one way, and you're like, wow, there's so many compelling things that could work. But, like, I don't know. I think I'm team we went to the
A
moon.
lot of compelling things on the other side too.
Yeah.
That's what's got me
right.
fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Before today, I was, like, pretty 50-50.
Well, how do you see this? Is my thing. Like I literally would watch videos, and you can see fishing, like fish wire pulling up astronauts and shit. Like I've seen with my own eyes these videos, like multiple ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like on the spaceships.
Yeah.
I mean, also
The way they're twirling around.
You also have to
question.
realize that a computer at the time of the moon landing was the size of this room.
Who's taking the
Yeah.
video? Who took the video? Who took the video of the astronauts?
It was on the spacecraft itself.
It was.
He was on the spacecraft.
It's
He
always
was
a
ready
question
with
I
that
like to know.
picture.
It's always a question I ask. I'm like, who, you know? I don't know. We might have landed on the moon. We might have not.
That's the fun. That's the fun.
Right? That's the fun of it. That's the fun of questioning it and being open-minded enough to, like, be open to both. You know, we did or we didn't. You shouldn't be shut off to the other one just because you think one thing.
Yeah.
You know, your opinion can always change.
For sure.
You know,
That's why we discuss these things.
Yeah, stay true to yourself, but always know your opinion can change. It's information. With information comes knowledge, and with knowledge comes power.
With power becomes great responsibility.
I think the biggest thing,
Uncle Ben.
I think everyone's biggest like saying for this Apollo thing is like, hey, the lighting on it was so weird. It looks like studio lighting. Would you agree with that? But the thing about the moon is it doesn't have an atmosphere. So light isn't dispersed the same way as it does when it hits our atmosphere. Because like,
is that what? Sorry.
No, you're good. Because like the reason we see orange and yellow in our sunsets is because as it hits the dust and all the particles in the air, it refracts and starts giving off.
Okay, I mean it makes sense.
Is
that why the
blocks certain wavelengths?
The actual craft that landed on the moon, is that why the pictures of it? Have you seen like what the material looks like? It looks like it's made out of fucking tinfoil or some shit. Mm-hmm. Is that why it looks like that? Because like the light from the picture is weird. It just looks like it was a cardboard fucking box that some kid made.
They just used like the strongest metal and lightest metal that they had at the time. Strongest and lightest, I think.
Vibranium?
No, it's not vibranium.